Hello, everybody. Joe Bag Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of Umineko. I'm a little tired. I just ate a fuck ton of Indian food. I am loaded down with lamb, and I am a little. Ooh, man, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the coma coming on. But I had a weird day. I went to bed at like 7 a.m. I woke up. It was like 2, 3. Yeah, that's fairly normal for me. I'm on vacation too, so it doesn't matter. But I'm brain just got melted by playing Crusader Kings 3 all night once again, as I want to do. Really easy to just like lose yourself in like the management part of the game, and like, oh, there go 12 hours. Never went to bed. Whoops. So yeah, I got a little brain fog from that, but just poured myself a nice cup of coffee. So let's just hop in there, and hopefully nothing bad happens, huh? Hopefully no one tries to fulfill that riddle, like, oh, I just need to do all these steps of, like, you know, oh god, what were they? It was like something gut, leg, yada yada. Don't be like disemboweling people, please. With like garden implements. That's pretty gnarly.
黄金鏡に至るだろう。しかしマリアは豆だな。
You remember the whole thing?
ちゃんとメモしてるとは偉いぜ。
マリアは忘れっぽいからちゃんと書く。
Yeah, I just accept that I forget things, and then, you know, if it wasn't important enough to remember, it probably wasn't that big a deal
ママに
anyway.
言われたからちゃんと書く。
And there was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around. Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while here on this beach. For Jessica and the others, this was a puzzle they had already tried to solve several times, and had already gotten bored with it. But it was a first for me. I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my male sense of romance.
まず1行目。懐かしき
Fuck, I just
故
caught
郷
my
を
jaw.
貫く鮎の川か。
I really fucked up my jaw when I was playing soccer a couple years ago. I went to go block a shot, and it just like slipped through my hands and hit me square on the chin, and damn near dislocated my jaw. It pushed it all the way back. It popped both my ears, and that was the closest I've come to just getting straight knocked out from a blow to the head. If it wasn't for the goalpost behind me, I would have just fucking fallen flat on my ass. That was a fun one. But ever since then, I can like click my jaw, and if I open it sometimes, it just goes. It's like, oh.
じい様の故郷ってどこだっけ？
戦前の後宮家は小田原のあたりに屋敷を構えてたって聞いたぜ。
Okay, but that's the main family.
で、となりゃ小田原に流れてる鮎の泳ぐ川に関心が行くわけだろ？
まずはその川が起点になるからな。
That's a little too straightforward.
んで、
There's got to be some
黄金
trick
鏡を
to
目
it,
指す者は
obviously.
そいつを下って鍵を探せとあるわけだ。小田原にある川ってなんだ？鮎が泳ぐ川だぜ。
小田原で鮎って言ったら早川だろうね。
Of course, we've already looked
渓
into
流
it.
釣りで有名だよ。
マリア魚嫌い。
Why? Fish are great. I fucking love fish.
マリアももう少し大きくなったらわかるぜ。鮎の塩焼きをベロベロベロってな。うまいぜ。さっき飯食ったばっかりだってのに、もう
Did
腹
a
が
lot
減
of
ってきち
fishing
まう
as a
ぜ。
kid. Catch like some fucking lake trout and like little rainbows. Like just cook them on the fire.
ビスケットでもお持ちしましょうか。
あ
I thought we already
あ、
had
悪い悪い。
cookies.
そんなつもりで言ったんじゃないぜ。気にすんな。
Shen-chan, who didn't have any afternoon chores for the while, was faithfully keeping us company. I would have thought that, as a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but it seems it wasn't so in her case. To the contrary, it seems she was having fun joining in on the conversation with people of a similar age. Oh, let me check something real quick. Characters. We saw that Shannon has the one-winged eagle like tattooed on. Okay, no, it's just servants of the house can have it too. But it's weird that she has it, you know, fucking as a tattoo, kind of like Ava does. But, you know, all the other servants just have it embroidered. Very dedicated to her job, it seems. To the contrary, it seems she was having fun joining in on the conversation with people of a similar age. When I asked, she told me she was a live-in worker. So normally, the only person close in age to her was Jessica. I get it. It must be pretty wearisome.
さて、小田原で愛の川って言えば早川だってことは分かった。となりゃ下るしかねえよな。早川を下ると何があるんだろうな。
下流に出て海に出ると思います。
そう
I mean,
さ。
it makes sense. Most
河
rivers
口部に出
do
る。
lead to the ocean.
そして碑文の3行目に
Or at
は
least to another
川
river
を
that
下れば
does.
やがて里ありとあるな。ちなみにそういう河口部は大抵大昔から輸送の要衝になってて大きな都市があるもんさ。ここが次のチェックポイントだな。
Yeah.
うんうん。なかなかいい筋だね。バトラ君の想像通り、そこは大昔にとても栄えたことだよ。
Well, is it a navigable river, or is it just like one you can, fucking load shit on and it just flows downstream, but you can't get back up?
小田原城があるところだね。
修学旅行で小田原城に行った気がします。素敵なお城でしたよ。
ああ、私も小田原城だったぜ。
Cool. I'll have to take your guys' word on it.
洋館に住んでてなんだが、やっぱり日本人は和風の方が落ち着くよな。
おお、マリアお城退屈。
You're a girl. You don't get
が
it.
いい。
そうかそうか。よしよし。黄金を見つけたらこのバトラ様が気前よく遊園地を一日借り切って遊ばせてやるぜ。
Pretty sure your family can do that even without needing the gold.
しかし小田原城の隠し黄金。お、こりゃなんだかいかにもって感じだよな。
まあ、2年前の私たちもそこまでは行き着いたぜ。
Yeah, it doesn't take a genius to get that far.
小田原で鮎の泳ぐ川を下った里。
It's the middle part where it's just like the actual riddle is.
そこが多分小田原城あたりだろうってところまでは私たちも行き着いたさ。問題は次の行だろう。さて、バトラの鎮水理はどこまで行けるか
Yes,
見
please
ものだ
explain.
ぜ。
Jessica grinned broadly. It was like she was saying that if the puzzle could be solved so easily, she would have found it long ago. Ah, damn it. I'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself.
4行目。その里にて二人が口にし岸を探れ。二人ってのが何のことかわからねえが、とにかく岸だな。で岸ってなんだよ。岸って名前がつく地名でもあるのかな。
Yep, here we go. We're getting into fucking Japanese wordplay. At which point, it's just completely hands off and we're just along for the ride.
蘇我岸という地名が小田原にあるんだそうですよ。
おお、詳しいな。ってことはなんだよ。シャノンちゃんも黄金を狙って謎解きに挑戦してるんだな。
I mean, he has told everybody to give it a shot.
となりゃ、俺たちはライバルだぜ。
別に黄金なんて興味は。ただ以前にジョージ様から教えてもらっただけで。
Yeah, it tickles the curiosity.
2年前の私たちも同じ推理に行き着いたってわけさ。わざわざ地図を広げて調べたんだぜ。
小田原城の北に5キロくらいだったかな。そこには確かに蘇我岸という地名があるよ。でもそこからがわからないんだ。
Yeah.
次の5行目にはその土地のどこに鍵があるかは記してない。マリアちゃん、
You can't just go ripping
Yonder
apart the entire
Kurerukai?
town.
そこに黄金鏡への鍵が眠る。
Good job sounding it out.
蘇我岸ったって広いだろうし、かつてそこに後宮家の家があったわけでもない。その広大な土地のどこかに鍵が隠されてて納品取ってんじゃ。
Yeah, like what is it?
こ
Just
いつ
under
はお
someone's
手上げって
someone's
わけだ
welcome
ぜ。
mat
確かにな。鍵が手に入らないことには
underneath a
その
flower
先の行
pot.
に進めないぜ。ジョージ兄貴、 蘇我騎士ってのはどんなとこなんだ？
さあね、行ったことはないからわからないけど、地図によると山の中みたいだよ。確か浅間山の山麓みたいだったね。
なんだかパッとしねえな。宝のありかを隠した謎ってのはもっとぴったりとハマるもんじゃねえのかよ。どうも蘇我騎士ってのがそもそも間違いって気がするぜ。
Yeah.
私は蘇我騎士を疑
There's
って
some,
る
there's
ぜ。
some fucking wordplay going on here.
私たちが知らないだけで、例えばじいさまの子供時代を過ごした家とかがあるかもしれないだろ。一行目に懐かしき故郷をって行があるくらいだもんな。シャノンはじいさまによく酒とか継がされてたろ。
Yeah, old people love to ramble about the past.
昔話とか聞かされたことないのか？
親方様は昔の話はほとんどされません。ただ、後ろ宮家が滅びかけた関東大震災について、非常に人事のように話されることがありましたので、
Well, I mean, to an extent, it didn't really.
関東地方よりずっと
He
遠
just got
方
left
に
holding
お
the
住まい
bag
だった
after
か
the
も
rest
し
of
れ
the
ま
family
せん。
fucking kicked the bucket.
後宮本家は小田原に住んでたかもしれないけど、分家はその限りじゃなかったろうね。おじいさまはよく自分のことを分家も分家、跡継ぎに最も縁遠かったと言われるくらいだからね。
ってことはつまり懐かしき故郷ってのがすでに小田原じゃない可能性もあるってことだな。
じいさまの故郷なんて聞いたこともないぜ。
I mean, you could just ask him.
聞いても素直に教えちゃくれねえだろうしよ。
Well, that's also fair.
懐かしき故郷というのが後宮家のルーツを指さないのであれば、小田原説は初めから間違ってることになっちゃうね。もちろん蘇我騎士の疑いが晴れたわけじゃないけれども、例えば幼少の頃を小田原で過ごし、その後遠方へ引っ越した可能性もあるだろうし。
There's just too many unknowns for you to be able to get a definitive
お
theory.
ー、さっきから何の話かわかんない。ほー。
Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and now she sat puffing up her cheeks in boredom.
つまりだな。
Oh, go find some crabs or something.
黄金すごろくの最初のスタート地点が決まらないことには何も始まらないってことだぜ。最初の5行で見つかるのは鍵だろ。鍵なんてなくても扉はぶち壊して入ることだってできるはずだぜ。
いや、
とりあえず最初の5行をすっ飛ばしてその先の推理に入ってもいいんじゃねえか。
おお、その発想はなかったぜ。まあいいや、どう
unless
せ
it's
暇
like
つぶ
a
しなんだ。
metaphorical key.
続きを聞かせろよ、バトラの推理。
でも、その先からは急に物騒になるんですよね。
Shin-chan frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, all right, I agree.
第1の番に鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよう。いきなり物騒になるな。
第2の番には、
Mm-hmm.
寄り添う2人を引き裂けときたもんだ。恋仲を破談させるのか。
Now, how's it written for tear apart? Are we talking like, you know, ripping apart into pieces? Or are we talking like, you know, tear apart as in like emotional distance kind of tearing people apart?
文字通り引き裂くという意味なのか。わかりかねるけど、どっちにせよ気持ちの悪い話だぜ。
その第2の番の解釈を別にしても、第1の番に6人、第4の番から第8の番までで5人、少なく見積もっても11人が生贄にされなきゃならない。
ベアトリーチェが蘇るための生贄。
Sure.
なるほど。魔女復活のための生贄か。そういう解釈にもなるな。その結果第9の番に魔女が蘇って最後は極めつけだな。
第9の番に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。
Yeah, that's, not very good for you
結
guys.
局はみんな死んでしまいます。
それでようやく次の第10の番にゴールってことになってんな。 みんな死んじまう
Very
のに
Shakespearean.
黄金鏡へ至るだろうって言われても困ったもんだぜ。
鍵を手に旅に出た当人も生き残れないに含めるのかどうかは解釈の分かれるところだね。
Mm-hmm. Great, now we're
しか
getting
し
into
よ、
like fucking English.
最後のところに
shit.
は
Ugh.
面白いことが書いてあるぜ。ゴールした後、魔女からもらえる4つの宝の行だよ。1つは全ての黄金。問題は次だ。全ての死者の魂を蘇らせるとあるぜ。みんな死んじまったっていうのとかけてるような気がしねえか。
Yeah, but it doesn't specify, which is also concerning.
それを言われれば、次の失った愛すらも蘇らせるという部分は、
Everyone makes up in the end.
第二の晩の寄り添いし二人を引き裂けにかけているようにも見えますね。
そうだね。そして4つ目も第9の晩にかけてある。第9の晩に蘇った魔女を4つ目の宝が再び眠りにつかせている。
好意的に解釈すりゃ、死んだり別れさせたりと忙しいが、最後には全部チャラになるわけだな。
Uh-huh.
目覚めた魔女も再び眠るし、手元にはたっぷりの黄金だけが残るって寸法だぜ。
死んだり蘇らせたり、別れさせたりくっつかせたりと、
Definitely,
魔女様はお忙しいこった
definitely
ね
seems。like spelling out the trajectory of the story here, but
ついでに起きたり眠ったりな。
that's a little too straightforward.
やれやれ。せっかくの隠し黄金の話も魔女の話が絡んじまうと急にうさんくさくなっちまう
Most
ぜ。
things involving witches are pretty shady.
違いないな。
I laughed along with Jessica. After all, which was just ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in witches, got angry.
魔女はすごい。魔法で何でもできる。殺すことも生き返らせることも愛を与えることも奪うことも、空も飛べるし姿を透明にできるし、黄金もパンも生み出せる。
Okay, let's all take a chill pill.
悪い悪い、冗談だよ。
Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. She grabbed her notebook back into my hands and, opening it to the other pages, tried to prove that witches existed. Those pages had colored illustrations of witches drawn on them, and conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches well. They were not depicted as the normal sinister, crooked-nosed hags flying around on brooms, but as dreamlike people with mysterious powers who could do anything and wore beautiful dresses. Just what you'd expect from an imaginative young girl. Dancing through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with magical teacups and teapots that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of them. With a flourish of their wands, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down. And flowers that produced sweets would bud along the roadside. To Maria, witches were the sole thing that could give form to the magical dreams that so captivated her. The last thing enriching her reality, which revealed more and more of its bland nature to her with every inch she grew. That was why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream to be insulted. And for that very reason, nor did she want the epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches, to be insulted. Because the witch Beatrice is Maria's dream.
マリアちゃんにとってはこれは黄金の隠し
Now,
場
how
所を
does
示す
Beatrice
ものじゃ
feel
なく
about
て
that?
魔女を蘇らせるための魔法なんだって。
So, it was the single bridge between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung onto George Aniki. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't want to be consoled easily. As Jessica and I hung our heads, wondering what we could do, Shan-chan timidly opened her mouth in our place. Be the mediator here,
マリア
please.
様、ご存知ですか？私たち
Third
使
party
用人
intervention.
の間ではベアトリーチ様の怪談が語り継がれているんですよ。
そうだったっけ。
Yep, diversion.
シャドウ、 聞かせてやるよ。
Good segue.
私は知らないんだけど、使用人の間じゃかなり有名な話らしいぜ。
何の話だ？階段？
Specifically for the servants?
僕たちが生まれる前からある話らしいね。母さんにも話を聞かされたことがあるよ。
はい。この島にお屋敷が建てられてからずっと語り継がれている話です。当時の使用人たちは、お屋敷には昼と夜で違う主がいると囁き合っていたそうです。
Cool. The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. If there was a forest with a witch living inside it, then inevitably the witch was going to pay the mansion a visit. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
ちゃんと閉めたはずの窓や扉や鍵がもう一度見回りに来たら開いていたとか、消したはずの明かりがついていたり、
Oh, that's just shoddy electrical work.
つけたはずの明かりが
It's like
消
how
え
I
て
can
いた
turn on
り、
my stairwell light with, you know, the light downstairs and the one upstairs, but if I have like one switch turned on, like in the kitchen, it doesn't work. Yeah, this house is a fire hazard. When I first moved in, there was just a single light bulb hanging down in the basement. Just raw braided wire. I'm like, don't know how I feel about that one. So I just turned everything off in the breaker box and gave it the old tap with my finger to see if I was going to get electrocuted and die, and then just undid that and capped it off. I'm like, I'm okay if the basement's a little dark.
置いたはずのものがなくなっていたり、置いた覚えのないものが置かれていたり、そういうことがあるたびに、古い使用人たちは魔女が姿を消してお屋敷を訪れ、いたずらをしていったのだろうと囁き合ったそうです。ほら、いる。
Sure.
ベアトリーチェはいる。
ああ、いるよな。私も昔よく登校の時に限ってカバンが見つからなかったりしたもんだぜ。
The witch did it. Oh, where are my car keys? Ah, the witch stole them. Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh, as though that was the final proof that the witch existed. It was, if I said it out loud, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't, but... I mean, you hear that kind of story everywhere. Yeah, like, oh, where did my piece of fucking cake I left in the fridge go? The witch probably got it, don't worry about it. Depending on the place, it might be blamed on fairies or something. It's just that, on this island, they call it the witch. Of course, you would expect that walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would definitely be eerie.
他にも鬼火や輝く蝶々が舞っているのを見たという使用人も、カノン君もそれらしいものを以前夜の見回りの時に見たことがあると言っ
Look,
て
the
ま
woods
し
at
た。
night are creepy. It's human nature to literally, like, be on edge in environments like that.
あと最近ではお屋敷の中で深夜に
Jumping at
不
shadows
思議
is a
な足
survival
音をよ
instinct.
く聞くと使用人の間で話題です。私たちは肖像画の中のベアトリーチェ様が姿を消してお屋敷の中を散歩しているんだろうと囁き合ってるんですよ。ずいぶん前ですが、私もそうかもしれない足音を夜の見回りの時に聞いたことがあります。
I mean, it's also a big old house.
ひゅ
Wood
ー
creaks.
そりゃ怖えな。
あ、でも怯えることはないんですよ。
Yeah.
ベアトリーチェ様は親方様とは異なるもう一人のお屋敷の主です。だから変に怯えたりしないで、
Yeah, just
敬
like, you
意を
know,
持っていれば
close the refrigerator when
決
you're
して
done,
悪いことはしないのだそうです。
flush the toilet, and turn the lights off when you leave the room and you got anything to worry about.
ただし、敬意を持たないと恐ろしいんだったね。
はい。私が勤めを始める直前に階段を転がり落ちて腰に大怪我をして辞めた方は、ベアトリーチェ様のことを悪く言っていたそうです。だから使用人たちはベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れたのだろうと 噂し合ったそうです。
バトラとジェシカ、きっとお怒りに触れる。
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's not go there.
わあ、悪かったぜ。
Yeah, hey.
お怒りに触れちゃた
That's
まら
fucking
ね
bad
え。
juju.
謝るよ、マリア。もちろん、魔女様にも謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。よそ者のザレ言と思って勘弁してやってください。
私も謝るぜ。ベアトリーチェ様、ごめんなさい。これで魔女様、私たちを許してくれるかな？
Maybe apologize in front of the portrait for, good measure.
わかんない。魔女は気まぐれだから、許してくれるときは許してくれるし、許さないときは許さない。
Yeah,
そ
depends
れは
if
困ったね。
Venus is in a retrograde or not or some bullshit.
マリアちゃん、バトラ君とジェシカちゃんがベアトリーチェ様のお怒りに触れないようにする
Yeah, give
い
us a
い
magic
おまじ
spell,
ない
would
と
ya?
かないかな。何か魔除けとかさ。
By relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. I was once again forced to admire his ability to comfort children. After crossing her arms and pondering seriously as to whether there was some charm capable of protecting Jessica and myself from the witch's wrath, Maria began flipping through the pages of her handbook. I thought it was just a simple scribbled diary, but it turned out there were also many pages that looked like they had come from a book on black magic. She was intently comparing several pages onto which had been copied what looks like magic circles. Looks like the black magic hobby wasn't limited to grandfather alone. Perhaps she had finished her research. She vigorously closed the notebook with a snap, threw it into her handbag, and began fishing through the bag's contents. It seemed that various jumbled up things were in there. For a while, she continued to take out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical items to her, and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong. She looked a little humorous, almost like Santa Claus deliberating over which present to give. Finally, it seemed that she had excavated what she was looking for. With a face unimaginably brighter than the difficult expression she had worn until now, she stuck them out to Jessica and me. What we got? As I reached out to grab it, I noticed it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looks like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary, with a scorpion motif metal attached. Fucking wicked. Got like any of those spider rings from Chuck E. Cheese in there too? I mean, you often find cheap accessories that correspond with the constellations. Felt like a gift you might win at a crane game at an arcade. Scorpio? It really looked like something like that. And there were two. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, considering the odd fact that there were two of them, they looked like cheap manufactured goods, and it was quite hard to find them as magical items.
これを私とバトラに？
このお守りならベアトリーチェも大丈夫。
I have to take your word for it.
サソリは魔除けの力があるから。
そうなのか？サソリにそんな力がねえ。
Nope, neither did I.
バトラが信じない。
What is it? Scorpio's the one that chases Orion. I didn't flame Maria again because I said too much. Maria took out her notebook again and turned and pointed to page after page, going on and on about how the scorpion had holy power and had been drawn on magic-repelling item circles since ancient times.
他の使用人の子から聞いたことがあります。サソリって魔術では魔除けのシンボルとして描かれることもあるんだとか。
へえ、そうなのか。
サソリは悪い魔法や最悪から守ってくれる。
Okay.
そしてエメラルドは心に平和をもたらしてくれる。だから二重で効果がある。
Oh, is this bracelet made of emeralds?
ほんとだ。
Or is it just green?
サソリがエメラルドを抱いて守ってるね。なるほど。これはご利益がありそうだよ。
Fuck it, I'll take it. I really want to make fun of this worthless-looking charm, but as I watched Maria explaining the charm with all her heart, and realized that she had prepared them out of consideration for us, it felt as though, even if it were just a prize from a game center, it would still be beneficial. Material quality isn't important about charms. It's the strength of the feelings behind them. I'd like to think I have enough respect for myself not to make fun of those.
そっか。ありがとな。
Yep, thought that matters.
ベアトリーチェ様には謝ったけどよ。万が一たたりがある時でも、マリアのこのお守りのおかげで安心だぜ。な、ジェシカ。
ああ、そうだぜ。ありがとうな、マリア。
心に平安が欲しいときは腕につける。お財布に入れるとお金が減らなくなる。ドアノブにかけておくと悪いものが入ってこられなくなる。
Okay.
便利なお守り。
それはすごい効能ですね。
Nothing wrong with a little, you know, a little good luck. I got some horseshoes lying around.
マリア様が自信を持って進めるお守りなら、きっと頼もしいものと思い
I
ま
should
す。
probably nail one up above my doorway now that I think about it. Shin-chan tapped her hands together lightly. Maria stuck out her chest. She was completely cheered up again. If it would keep her in this good of a mood, it would probably be worth it to let Maria lead the discussion for a while longer. When you think about it, she hadn't shared in our excitement when we talked about the gold hidden location, so I think she had gotten a little bored. Yeah, that's money problems for adults. She doesn't care about that. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. For each one, George Aniki and Shannon-chan would act surprised and agree with everything she said. The color of the clouds in the sky grew progressively heavier, but the cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after 1 year of separation.
今、額にポタって来なかったかい？
Probably.
どうだろうな。
As George Aniki rubbed his forehead and he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, raindrops would easily have started falling down at any moment. I mean, the air is usually not super damp before like a big rainstorm or thunderstorm because, you know, it's usually a low pressure wave that's blowing through, so the air doesn't feel as heavy. It actually feels like nice and refreshing. It also seems like the wind had gotten a little stronger.
ほう。マリアポタッと来ない。
Oh, you have all this hair covering your head.
マリアだけ来ない。ほう。
安心しろ。俺にも来ねえぜ。それに今夜になれば、誰にも等しく大雨が降るだろうよ。
Yeah, you can stand outside in the rain if you want.
そうだね。
I've had enough of that at work.
そろそろ引き上げた方がいいかな。
Shannon-chan looked down at her watch. May have already been well into the evening.
もう仕事に戻る時間かよ。
はい。
Yep, break time's over.
皆様と一緒で楽しい時間を過ごさせていただきました。ありがとうございました。
熊沢さんにクッキーをごちそうさまって伝えてね。さあみんな、片付けを手伝おう。
Shannon-chan declined our help, saying that it was a servant's job. But picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is, like my life and purpose. Is like my purpose in life. Brr. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
ゴミが逃げる。
Oh, better go get it.
そいつは逃がさないぜ。
Pigeon's
マ
gonna
リア
eat
より
it
先に
fucking
いた
choke
だ
to
き
death.
だ。
Or I guess more of a seagull in this case.
マリアが拾う。
マリア、靴を濡らすなよ。怒られるぜ。
Yeah. To Maria, chasing after some trash that the strong winds had sent flying was just like an extension of our playtime. By the time we finished cleaning up, the wind had started to blow very strongly. Looked like a good chance to head back.
皆様のおかげで助かりました。ありがとうございました。
もう本当に時間がないみたいだね。先に戻っていいよ。
George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left.
源氏さん、時間には厳しい人だからな。定時に持ち場についてないと厳しそうだぜ。
Yep.
また後でね。
15 minutes early is on time is late.
お仕事頑張ってね。
And being late is unacceptable.
はい。それでは失礼させていただきます。
After making a respectful bow, Shin-chan hurried off in the direction of the rose garden.
ほんじゃ、俺たちもゲストハウスへ戻ろうぜ。テレビでも見て、くつろがせてもらうさ。
テレビ見る。テレビ見る。
なら決まりだな。 戻ってみんなで一緒にテレビでも見ようぜ。
Yeah, and it's 84, I think. What's the date? Oh no, you can see what time it is in the real world and when I'm recording this. 86. What year did the Famicom come out? I feel like by 86 there should be you know, something for them to do inside in the rain. I'm actually curious on this one, Googling it. Famicom, Japan, release date. 1983. So they can go play some Mario. Even Maria, who was still not tired of playing, agreed when she thought about watching TV. We headed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. The wind had become very strong, and the roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on water. This might have been our last chance to see these beautiful roses. Tonight's typhoon was sure to ruin them.
バラ、今夜の風でやられちまうかもしれないな。
そうだな。バラたちもラッキーだったと思うぜ。
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
台風の前にバトラたちを歓迎できたんだからよ。
花はいつか必ず散る。でも、だからこそ咲き誇る今をめでることができるんじゃないかな。
And they'll grow back next year.
そうだな。マリアもよく目に焼き付けとけ。今この瞬間が今年で一番のバラなんだぜ。
目に焼き付ける。
Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. Looked like she had remembered something.
マリアのバラ、
Oh yeah, you're one with the little candy wrapper wrapped on it
台
or
風
something.
で飛ばされちゃう。
ああ、ジョージの兄貴に目印のリボンをつけてもらった。
It seemed that Maria remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you ask Canon for like a little flower pot, he'd be able to like put it in for you and be able to take it inside.
あれはどこだったっけな。確かこの辺だったと思ったぜ。
We searched everywhere around the area, but after all, it was only a single flower among all the roses. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, it wasn't proving easy to find. The ones that made up the front lines of the typhoon were making the roses through the garden undulate. It's almost like they were, it's almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。少し手分けをして探してみようか。
そうだな。人海戦術で行こうぜ。なんだよ、マリア。
As we made to split up and search, Maria tied on my jacket with an unhappy face. Felt like her intention was to stop us from going to another place.
なんだよ、どうした？
マリアのバラはここなの。ここにあるの。
でも現にないぜ。この花壇の裏側だったかもな。みんなで探せば早いぜ。
ここなの。マリアのバラはここなの。探して。探して。
Alright, take a chill pill. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She was pointing at the spot, saying it was definitely there, yet it actually wasn't. And yet, if we went to search elsewhere, she got mad. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while, we would have to stay with Maria and pretend to search through this rose thicket. What the fuck is that? Huh. Someone was driving by on the street with their bass in their car really turned up, and it was shaking my sunroom.
ない。ない。ない。
Maybe she's saying it should be here, but isn't. Maria became increasingly ill-tempered.
参ったな。マリアがすっかり機嫌を損ねちまったぞ。
Yeah, kids aren't the best to deal with when they're like this.
マリアはたまにすごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。それがどうにかなるときはいいん
That's
だ
just
け
a
ど。
kid thing. Kids are irrational like that.
ないものは探せないしね。 困ったな。
Just as we were starting to despair for a way out of the situation, Maria shouted out loudly. In the direction she was waving her hand, Auntie Rosa's figure was visible. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came, or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Auntie Rosa was coming over from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
あらあら、どうしたのみんな。何か探し物なの？
探して。ママもマリアのバラを探して。
マリアのバラって？
この辺に
Yeah.
元気のないバラを一つ見つけて、それに目印をつけたんです。
飴玉かなんかの包み紙でキュッと。しかしマリア、確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃすぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。足が生えてどこかに行っちまったんじゃなきゃ他の場所だったと思うぜ。
Unless by some magic it became a better. Woo!
マリアの記憶違いじゃないのか。
ここなの。パトラが信じてくれない。
Can you point it out to us, please?
その言うのをやめなさいって何度言ったらわかるの？ママも探してあげるから静かにしなさい。
So surprised to see Auntie Rosa, who I'd only ever seen as gentle, get angry. Auntie Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. But we were already more than sure it wasn't around here. And so, Auntie Rosa also realized very quickly that it wasn't here.
ここにはそのバラはないわよ。他の場所の間違いじゃない。これだけたくさんのバラがあるんだから。
違うの。ここにあるの。
Can you point to it, please? Walk us over to it.
ママも信じてくれない。
ちゃんと信じて探してるでしょ。でもないじゃない。
でもここなの。ここにあるのにないの。
Oh, that's a bit of a contradiction.
じゃあ誰かが抜いちゃったんでしょ。とにかくその言うのやめなさい。
マリアのバラ抜いたの誰？抜いたの誰？返して返して。
Well, she's losing it.
そんなの知らないわよ。やめなさい。その言うのやめなさい。
Auntie Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. For that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. Here come the waterworks! Maria realized that her wish was being rejected before it could be fulfilled. She started yelling with an increasingly louder voice. Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. Maybe this isn't the best way to handle this. This time she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly louder voice. Auntie Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hands once more and tried to shut her daughter up.
ローザおばさん。
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa!
まあまあ、小さい子供のことですし、そんなマジになんなくても。
Yeah, not trying to tell you how to parent, but maybe let's take a step back here and cool our heads. I attempted to intervene with a forced smile and my hands clasped together, but the deadly serious look I was thrown by Auntie Rosa taught me quickly that I shouldn't butt in.
ごめんね。バトラ君たちはちょっとお部屋に戻っててくれる？おばさんはマリアとちょっと話があるの。
誰もマリアのバラを信じてくれない。ここにあったのに。探してここな
ya?
でもないじゃない。なら他の場所の勘違いでしょ。
I mean, sure, it's a fairly decent-sized garden, but, you know, if you're walking up from the water, you just gotta retrace your steps, like which way you came from the docks, and it's, you know, walk in one direction. It's either on the left or the right, you know, and really hard to get it mixed up.
絶対にここなの。
じゃあなくなっちゃったのよ。
Poof.
諦めなさい。
どうしてマリアのバラがなくなっちゃうの？
Look, man, I don't know.
どうして
知らないわよ、そんなの。
I mean, it was a diseased rose. You know, they probably pruned it so that way it didn't infect the rest of the garden.
だからその言うのをやめなさい。
Auntie Rosa once again raised her hand and, overrun by emotion, slapped Maria's cheek. So strong it knocked Maria over.
ローザおば
Hey,
さ
whoa, hey!
ん、いくら娘でも暴力はいけねえっすよ。
I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground, crying, "Ooh!" Other problems between parent and children are none of my business as an outsider. But I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this.
バトラ君は変に思わないの？あなたの学校にうなってる女の子なんている？
I mean, there are plenty of girls that ugu and gao. It's, you know.
いや、まあさすがに高校には。でも小学生ならそういう言うのも可愛いじゃないですか。
It's moe.
かわいい。言うのがかわいい？かわいいって？
Oh. It seemed that my reckless words had brought Auntie Rosa's wrath down upon me. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。マリアがいくつか知ってる
9?
？9歳よ。小学4年生なのよ。幼稚園児じゃないのよ。それなのにまだクラスで言ってるのよ。わかる？この子クラスでなんて言っていじめられてるか知ってるの？
I mean, have you thought about maybe taking her to a speech therapist?
この変な口癖のせいで未だに友達の一人もいないのよ。無責任にマリアのこと可愛いとか言って現実から目をそらさないで。この子の将来のことをもっともっと真剣に考えて。
Hey, let's,
だからその言うのをやめなさい。やめろって言ってんでしょ。
with a fucking ground pound, hitting her on Oki. Auntie Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unsatisfied voice was rising. Yeah, I'd be quite unsatisfied too if my mom was beating the shit out of me. I tried to stop her, but she thrust me away. My back collided with George Aniki.
昔はローザおばさんもマリアちゃんの幼児言葉の一つだくらいにしか思わなかったんだけど、小学校の中学年になっても治らないのを最近はだいぶ気にしてて。
別にどういう言葉遣いをしようと関係。
そのまま社会人にはなれないよ。だから見ていて気持ちのいい光景ではないけ
It
れ
is
ど。
the 80s in Japan, so I suppose maybe the understanding that some kids are more delayed in their speech development isn't as widely accepted as maybe it is today.
これはおばさんたち親子の問題なんだよ。
まあ私もこの言葉遣いのせいでよくお袋に怒られるけどよ。
That's just because you speak like a little gruffly. You don't quite seem like an ore kind of girl, but close, you know, a little tomboyish. If you look at it that way, maybe an outsider shouldn't interfere with this, even though it's painful to watch.
バトラ君だって小さい頃悪い癖が治らなくて怒られたことがあったんじゃないかい？
まあ一つや二つは。授業参観の日に人前でずっと怒られてた時は恥ずかしくてたまらなかったぜ。
じゃあ今のマリアちゃんたちの気持ちはわかるよね。僕たちにここにいてほしいとは 思わないんじゃないかな。
Yeah, it adds to the embarrassment,
ジェシカちゃんにもわかるよね。
which just makes you feel even more shit.
怒られてるところを誰かに見られてえとは思わないぜ。
Yeah.
行こう。ゲストハウスへ戻ろう。そしてマリアちゃんが戻ってきたら何事もなかったかのように迎えてあげようよ。それが一番じゃないかい。
Well, we thought that George Anaki's point was probably correct. And if we could use that correct-sounding reason to justify a retreat from this painful scene, that was probably enough for us. Jessica and I nodded at George Anaki, and we all left. We called towards Maria that we were going on ahead to the guest house. But since it didn't seem to reach her ears, we felt guilty and shameless even saying it.
それなら好きなだけ一人で探しなさい。ママは知りません。
探す。マリアが一人で探す。ママが知らなくても探す。
勝手にしなさい。
After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold, hurtful gesture, but from Rosa's perspective, that was not her intention. It's because the hand which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek with was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, only Maria was left in the rose garden all alone. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while, a raindrop would fall on her forehead. However, Maria didn't leave that place, not until she found that poor, withering rose. Yeah, sometimes it's just better to remove yourself from the situation, cool your head a bit. But, you should probably go back later and maybe have a talk with her and apologize, and, maybe try to hash this out a little bit better. It had definitely been there, and yet, it wasn't there. Even though she knew the place, and even though this was it wasn't there. Maria, while bitterly staring at the place it was supposed to be, thought frantically. Maybe the angle I'm looking at it from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking at it from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly changed her position and continued to stare. The wind was getting increasingly strong. But Maria kept looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. A witch took it, spirited it away to make it better. A witch is probably a fairly good botanist. She might be able to save it. Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It finally started to rain. It had begun later than the weather report had predicted. Kinzo, as if being summoned by the sound of the rain, approached the window. The sound of the rain is the sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence. It makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from when they are born to when they die. I mean, it just makes me think like, oh shit, I hope I, close my car window. Were those words directed at the rainy sky? No one could be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze.
さあ、始めようではないか。私とお前の奇跡の宴を。今こそ、この島は現世より切り離された。
Yep.
もう誰も私の儀
Rhode
式の
Island,
邪魔
big
をする
storm,
ことは
close
でき
circle.
ぬ。
Let's get this fucking mystery started.
お前にふさわしい生贄は十分にあるぞ。息子たちが4人、その伴侶が3人。
You have a couple crotch goblins running around.
孫たちが4人、私に、客に、使用人たち。どれでも好きなだけ食らうがいい。
What is it? They said they needed 11 people. How many characters we got in the story so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
運命の鍵は悪魔のルーレットに従い生贄を選ぶであろう。そのルーレットが私を選ぶならば、私すらもお前の生贄となろう。
Alright.
だからこそなのだ。それだけの狂気をかけるからこそ、私は必ずや偉大な奇跡を起こすだろう。さあ、好きなだけ食らうがいい。
Man, you really don't like your kids, huh?
私はそのルーレットに打ち勝つだろう。
Press X to doubt.
さあ、全てを落とすぞ。まずは後ろ宮家の家督を返そう。受け取るがいい。
As Kinzo violently opened the window, he ripped the golden ring from his finger and forcefully threw it away. At that moment, thunder resounded, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring.
そしてお前が蘇った時、そこにいるのは私であるだろう。私が最後まで生き残り、お前の目覚めを見守るだろう。
Alright, a little creepy.
さあ来たれ、ベアトリーチェ。ようこそ我が宴。私が生み出した全てと引き換えに。
Does this banquet have like those little pigs in a blanket, those like mini hot dogs, like wrapped in dough? Those are real good. I hope your like crazy macabre banquet at least has those. Oh, damn it! We'll go for a bit more. I know so far I've been stopping in all the chapter breaks, but yeah, it's been less than an hour. We can push on for like another 45 minutes maybe. Half an hour, perhaps. A news ticker popped up at the top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how many municipalities all over were continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. Of course, the harsh beating raindrops of the window were much more convincing.
すっげえ不利だな。でもこれだけ盛大だとすぐにやみそうな気もするけどな。
そりゃあめえぜ。台風の速度が遅いそうだから、
Ugh,
下手すりゃ明日も丸一日こんな調子らしいぜ。
just sitting in place.
ちょっとの天気でも船は欠航するもんだしよ。
やっぱり日曜日のうちには引き上げられないか。念のため月曜日に外部とのスケジュールを入れなくて正解だったよ。
ってことは月曜の学校はサボれそうだな。島生活ってのも悪くないもんだぜ。そういや、ジェシカは登校って毎日船で通ってるわけだろ。
Really?
船が欠航したら学校はどうなるんだ？カメハメハ大王並みに雨が降ったらお休みで風が吹いたら遅刻してか。
Don't know what part of Hawaiian history you're referencing here, my guy, but okay.
船が出なきゃ休みになるぜ。もっともそう甘くはねえけどな。
Yeah, not like she can just fucking swim to school.
大抵その代わりに自習が指示されて、
Yeah, then you're
後でか
stuck
っ
home
ちり
with
と
your
見られるから、
parents.
そうそう気楽でもねえさ。
例えば梅雨なんかの長く天気が崩れる時期だと数日間くらい登校できないこともあるんじゃねえのか？
そういうこともあるぜ。でも毎日きっちり担任から電話がかかってきて、どう自習しろ、何を提出しろとすっぱく指導されるけどな。
Nope. It's just vibrating.
バトラ君が考えてるほど簡単にはサボれないよ。
Yeah, it's not a free day off.
船で通う人たちのルールに従ってしっかり勉強をしているよ。
むしろ登校できた方が気楽だぜ。自分の部屋じゃ気が散るし、集中もできねえしな。それでいて
Why I have a
問
separate
題
study
集
room
ばっかり
upstairs?
数
Well, I
日
use
も
my
やらされて
katana
る
room
と
for
かなり精
The only
神的
thing in
に
there is
答えるもんがあるぜ。
the kotatsu and like a spare dresser I have that I keep like work clothes that I rarely use.
大学の時にはよ、寮のあるところに入って さっさとこんな不便な島はおさらばしたいもんだぜ。
Because I can't study down here. Like my big work, well, I say work desk. It's my computer desk. I got in consignment. It's like 7 feet long, solid wood. You know, I got my fucking computer here. I got my laptop behind me. I got my bookshelf with all my manga. I got my TV across the room. I got the couches right there. Like, I can't get any work done here. I'll find something to do instead.
へえ。じゃあよ、ちなみに行きは天気が良くても帰りは悪くて欠航ってなったらどうすんだ？学校に泊まるのか？
そういうのはよくあることだぜ。だから帰島できない人用の宿泊所があってよ、そこに寝泊まりするんだよ。下手すりゃ数日間家に帰れないことも
Like
あったりする
empty
ぜ。
classrooms and they just got some cots on standby, or like separate buildings specifically for like lodging.
乗車率が 200% を超えるような満員電車で毎日通勤通学しなければならない人から見てみると、船の通学なんて趣があって良さそうだななんてやっぱりい
Yeah,
ろいろと苦労
trains are
が
a
あるん
little
だ
more
ね。
reliable than a boat.
よく無神経な観光客がそういうこと言ってるぜ。私は島の生活なんてもうお腹いっぱいだね。早く高校出てこんな島とはおさらばし
Yeah,
たいぜ。
escape the boonies.
高校にだって全寮制のところとかあったろうよ。なんでわざわざ新島の学校を選んだんだよ。
I mean, I lived like almost a half-hour drive from my high school. So in the winter, there were just some days where it's like, sure, there's a delay, but I'm out in the woods and I gotta like leave the woods. The snowplows aren't gonna get to like my street until late in the afternoon. I'm not going to school today, and my teachers can just fucking suck it.
私は最初からそれを希望してたぜ。でもお袋がよ、
I mean, like,
当
I
時
had a
は手続きと
four-wheel
して
drive
の修行やら
truck,
マナ
so
ー
I
やら
could
が
have
うん
made
ぬん
it
ってうるさくて
if
よ。
I like really wanted to take it slow. But you know, fucking no skin off my nose to miss a day's senior year.
結局高校も地元になっちまったのさ。こんな島は
Man,
ごめん
senior
な
was
さい。
great for me. I had like all my credits and only had to take like 3 classes, and I was out of school before noon.
早く都会で生活したいよ。雨が降ろうが槍が降ろうがラフな格好でサンダルを履けば5分足らずでコンビニに行けるような都会に引っ越したいぜ。
もう少しの辛抱だよ。高校卒業まであとちょっとでしょ。
Then you're a big adult and you can make your own decisions, except you can't because you're part of this fucked up family.
そのちょっとも我慢できねえぜ。
Jessica stretched out and reclined on the sofa. Maybe because now is a bad time slot, there weren't any interesting programs on. We had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. In the end, Maria had not returned to the cousin's room. She had probably been brought back to the mansion by Auntie Rosa. That had to be pretty boring for Maria, all by herself while the adults are having a confusing conversation. Thought we might head over to the mansion to see her, but after all, it was this lousy weather. And there wasn't much time until dinner, so we stayed where we were. At that time, we heard a sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered.
お食事の準備が整いました。お屋敷へお越しください。
That was Kennekun's voice. He went all the way to the trouble to coming from the mansion at this range just to call us over? Couldn't he have just called us on the telephone? Oh well. Sometimes part of a servant's duty is to go against common sense.
なんとなく
Yeah, the
お
human
腹
element.
が空いてきた
It's,
頃だった
it's
しね。
appreciated.
行こうか。
It shows you care. George and Key turned off the television and stood up.
俺はとっくにペコペコ。本家の晩餐は毎回凝ってるしな。それに郷田さん、子牛のステーキとか言ってなかったっけ？たまらねえぜ。
Yeah, the veal's pretty good.
親族会議の日は特に豪華になるしな。私だって楽しみだぜ。行こう行こ
As we left the room, Kennekun bowed slightly and respectfully.
う。じゃあ行こうぜ。
Silently.
外の振りはだいぶひどいだろう。
はい。
I mean, it's nasty everywhere. This island isn't that big.
お召し物を濡らさぬよう十分ご注意ください。
Got any umbrellas? After seeing the three of us out, Kennekin peered into the empty room.
マリア様はいらっしゃいませんか？
一緒じゃないぜ。
Yeah, she's still out in the garden.
ローザおばさんと一緒じゃないのかよ。
Ah, the good old ah shit moment. Rosa, lying on the sofa in the empty parlor, had fallen asleep at some point. She was bearing a burden on her shoulders that the children could never even imagine. Therefore, when she let herself relax, that exhaustion quickly led her into the world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over her, her eyes snapped open as though she had received an electric shock.
ありがとう。源氏さんなのね。
When she realized that the thing that had touched her was just a blanket, and that Genji had been considerately giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief.
起こしてしまいましたか。
I mean, clearly.
失礼いたしました。
いえ、いいの。寝るつもりじゃなかったから。
No, stop, don't yawn. Asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch that he took out of his chest pocket.
6時を少し過ぎたところです。
Rose gave her head a little shake as she realized that, even though it had felt like she had slept for a long time. Not much time had actually passed. Yep, power naps are super useful. Take them at work sometimes. Especially when I was on night shift. For a while I was on weekend duty nights, which meant Saturday and Sunday I worked 12-hour shifts from, well, it used to be 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., but then they changed it from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. And in the winter, it's dark, it's cold, you're outside, you get tired, and, you know, if there's nothing going on, it's the weekend, it's only us there, it's basically skeleton crew. Leadership was super understanding. They're like, go in, like, one of the offices and just turn off the lights and, like, either lie on the floor or, like, take a seat in, like, the first shirt's couch. And just, like, we'll get you if something comes up. It's like, it's fine. We'd rather have you, you know, well-rested and, like, good to go instead of, like, a fucking zombie shuffling around that's gonna die because they're gonna make a mistake and fucking blow up or something.
ありがとう。毛布は結構よ。変な時間に眠っちゃダメね。
I've been very fortunate with my leadership and my squadron.
すっかり時間の感覚が狂っちゃったわ。
One of the benefits of being a small crew. Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain that had started falling.
風もだいぶ出てるよね。いよいよ台風なのかしら。
I'm like that too. White noise just knocks me out. That's why I sleep with a fan going in the winter, even if it's not pointed at me, just so I have a little something going that I can zone out to.
そのようにテレビでは申しております。遅い台風だそうで、明日いっぱいはこんな調子だそうです。
そう。この素敵なバラ庭園も日中のあれが見納めだったのね。
From the window, she could see that the rose garden was completely buried by the wind and the rain, blurred.
マリア。そうだ。
Yeah, you just kind of left your daughter out in a typhoon. It's fine.
私はお見かけしておりませんが、ゲストハウスにお戻りではないでしょうか。
Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, and a chill ran up her back. Maria was stupidly straightforward to the point that stupidly could be repeated 7 times. And if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look for it forever and ever. Even if the rain was pouring down.
違うわ。
Yeah, you fucked up.
いとこの子たちは先に行ってしまったから、あそこにはマリア一人。あの子は誰かにもうやめろと言われない限り、たとえ槍が降ってこようとあそこに居続けるわ。
Is that like a Japanese saying, spears falling from the skies? Is that like a proverb for like raining cats and dogs?
傘もささずに。私は感情に任せてなんてことを。
Yeah, you fucked up. As her mother, she had known about Maria's foolish straightforwardness better than anybody, She had once again lost control of her emotions and done such a horrible thing. Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hallway. Look at me just making up words. The outside really looked like a typhoon and was pouring down magnificently. Maybe because of some figure of the terrain. The winds were not as strong as the typhoon, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Impressive, considering you're on an island, there's nothing to block the wind. Even so, it was enough to be called a storm. There's no time to admire the roses being soaked by the rain.
とりあえず今はマリアが気になるぜ。まさかあの後も
Yes.
ずっと一人でへそ曲げてあそこでバラ探しをしてるなんてことはないよな。
そうだね。さすがにこの雨じゃと思いたいところだけど、
Yeah.
マリアちゃんは
You're
た
looking
ま
at
に
it
す
with
ごく
common
頑固で
sense, and you
も
know,
のすごく愚直な
it's not
時が
quite
あ
as
る。
common as you would think. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Auntie Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, it was concerning that Kennen-kun had thought that Maria was here when he came from the mansion to call us.
お屋敷ではお見かけしませんでしたので、てっきりこちらにおられるとばかり。ローザ様は仮眠を取られておいででしたので。
ここに来る途中に見かけなかったのかよ。
申し訳ございません。傘を差し急ぎ駆け抜けたもので、そこまでの注意を払いませんでした。
Yeah, and hard to see through like sheets of rain. If he was cutting through the rose garden on the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, he would have missed the place where Maria had been looking for the rose by little. And it was raining this hard, too. There's like a chance that Candy-kun had failed to notice her.
ここで議論するより直接確かめる方が早いぜ。兄貴、ちょいとかけっこと行こうじゃねえかよ。
Don't run in the rain, you'll slip on a rock and crack your head.
6年成長したから僕に勝てるつもりかい？よし、決着をつけようじゃないか。行こう。
I mean, Valor seems like he's a good runner. Tall, slender, long legs. George, Aniki, and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Cannon followed us.
ローザおばさんだ。おばさん。
George Aniki called back. Auntie Rosa flew at him and like almost amounted to attack.
マリアはどこ？ジョージ君たちと一緒じゃないの？
Nope.
いえ、僕たちはあの後マリアちゃんには出会ってません。
So good luck seeing anything with those big fucking Coke bottle glasses in this rain. Years ago, Maria had been 3 years old. She'd been a cute, pure kid who would just accept whatever anyone said. 6 years had passed since then. She was 9 now, experiencing the good and bad part of life should have taught her something. And yet, she was still just as innocent and pure as she used to be.
Maria!
As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria, holding a white umbrella, was crouching down, still searching for that rose. Oh, did she just have an umbrella in her bag? Like a little folded one? Her face, which had turned bright red from her crying her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud. It was a truly pitiful sight.
お前まだ探してたのか。
見つからない。マリアのバラ見つからない。
She had probably been here since the rain had started pouring down. I think her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, she was holding an umbrella, so she wasn't completely soaked. It was probably an umbrella from the handbag that Maria was always walking around with. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness.
バトラ君。
Yeah, let's go give you a warm bath.
よかった。見つけたんだね。
Yeah, you flew off the handle and did a pretty shitty thing. You should be fucking sorry. Auntie Rosa threw her own umbrella away and hugged Maria.
ない。マリアのバラがない。
後で
Yeah. We'll deal with it later. Looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Kaneko caught up with us.
すぐにお屋敷でタオルの用意をさせましょう。
マリア、ずっとここにいたのか。
ごめんね。本当に悪いままで。ごめん。
ローザおばさん、とりあえずお屋敷に行きましょう。このままじゃマリアちゃん風邪をひいちゃう。
I mean, kind of. That's not how colds work. You don't catch a cold just from being, just from being cold and it being wet. It just, like, reduces your immune system's ability to fight a cold, so you're more susceptible to getting one.
そうね。マリア、行きましょう。ちゃんときれいにしないとおじい様に怒られちゃうわよ。
お腹すいた。
もう食事の時間だぜ。
Yeah, you can join dinner a little late.
マリアはよく頑張ったよ。天気が良くなったら私たちも一緒に探してやるから。
We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as weak as I had thought. When she remembered the dinner was calf steak, she started chanting, "I'm hungry, hungry, ooh, ooh," and returned to her usual healthy self. Auntie Rosa didn't chide Maria on her ooh ooh.
そっか、
Yeah, kids are little tough little shits.
傘を持っていたのか。さすがマリアは物持ちがいいぜ。
マリア、傘なんか持ってない。
Then, where'd you get it?
なんだよ。じゃあその手に持って
Did a
る
witch give it to
白い
you?
傘はどうしたんだよ。
貸してもらった。
From... It seemed that some caring person had brought her an umbrella. A normal girl would look for shelter once it started raining. There was no way Maria's stubbornness would be broken by something like that. So maybe that person gave up recommending that she find shelter and at least brought an umbrella for her.
そう。その人にお礼を言わないとね。ラーレ。
ベアトリーチェ。
The name that Maria mentioned very happily was the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to avoid hurting Maria's feelings now that she was happy.
そう。よかったわね。それで誰なの？傘を持ってきてくれた人は。
Yeah, she just said it was Beatrice.
おお、ベアトリーチェ。
Maria, who quickly picked up that her mother didn't believe her, made an angry face once again. So, Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It looked like it would be faster to ask the person who had lent Maria the umbrella during dinner rather than ask Maria herself. I suppose just gotta hit the kids with, "Oh, yeah, that's nice."
お父さん、せめて晩餐にだけは出席してください。これでは親族会議になりません。
Along with a dull pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty could be heard. However, the voice that seemed to harbor a sense of resignation, that its sounds would not reach its intended ears.
金蔵さん、せめて夕食くらいは出んかね。あんたの顔を見ようと息子さんたちが集まってきてるんじゃないか。
黙れ南條。ビショップが聞かぬか。言って足りぬ。
Apparently, Kinzo was so completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. His brow wrinkled, and he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears.
金蔵さん、私も腹が減った。下に降りて食事をせんか。
ならばお前だけで行くといい。私はもうしばらくこの一手を吟味させてもらうぞ。今夜で決着をつけてやる。さもなくばお前との決着は金輪際つけられそうにないからな。
Aha, because there's a chance we'll die. Nanjo stood from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. He knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess. But he had never seen Kinzo as focused as he was now. He was acting almost as though, just as he had said, if the game wasn't finished tonight, there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest. Further attempts to persistently call him would surely not reach his heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Kraus was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Kraus took a step back. Surely Kinzo hadn't actually come out. But it was Nanjo who stood at the door. Kraus breathed a sigh of relief.
Nanjo sensei.
Yeah, almost like he didn't want to see his dad.
親父殿は
お役に立てなくて申し訳ございませんが、今や金蔵さんの世界はこの部屋だけです。
Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Kraus raised his fists once more and banged on the door, shouting,
お父さん、聞こえますか？私たちは下へおりますが、気が向かれたらいつでもおいでください。息子兄弟一同、ずっとお待ちしておりますよ。
The voice was very loud, and the door was being noisily pounded on. There's no way that it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. It was reaching him. However, he was ignoring it anyway. However, unlike the time he was being called down for lunch, he did not get into a rage. Kinzo was now simply calm at heart, and it was almost as though he had attained peace by turning himself over to fate.
晩餐にも息子たちの顔にも興味はない。
I mean, you don't want some veal?
私がここを出るのはベアトリーチがよみがえる時か、私が鍵の生贄に選ばれた時だけだ。もう悪魔のルーレットは回っている。今さら晩餐に
Come on, land on 00, land on the green. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. So the painfully loud banging on the door had completely failed to enter his hearing. Kinzo, a state of total peace, silently thought about his next chess move. Just as always, Kinzo was the only one missing from the dining hall. Kraus, wearing a bitter smile, returned with Nanjo.
親父殿は相変わらずご気分が優れられないそうだ。年に一度の親族が集まるこの機会に同席できないことを
Look, we're all family
非
here.
常
You
に
don't
残
need to lie
念が
to
られ
us.
ておら
You
れ
can
た。
just say that he didn't care about coming down. They'd get it. Even Rudolph snickered. Judging by Kinzo's character, he didn't regret it at all. And none of his relatives regretted that he hadn't appeared either.
ではディナーを始めようじゃないか。ゴーダ、始めたまえ。
かしこまりました。それでは始めさせていただきます。
Upon finally being told to begin the family conference dinner, his highlight scene for the whole year, Goda nodded, grinning broadly.
マリアに傘を貸してくれた人は誰かしら？
When Rosa timidly cut through the silence of the dining hall, everybody there turned their attention to her at once.
傘？何の話？さっきマリアがバラ庭園にいた時に雨が降り
Oh,
出
your
して
nose, Beatrice.
誰かに白い傘を借りたみたいなんだけど、
俺たちじゃねえぜ。ローザが出てった後は部屋を移してずっと仲良くおしゃべりをしてたからな。
はは、そうやで。あの後も兄弟で仲良くおしゃべりをしとったのや。
The word friendly fell awkwardly from Hideyoshi's lips, so that even those that hadn't been there realized that it hadn't been a pleasant conversation.
少なくとも私とエヴァとルドルフと、あと秀吉さんとキリエさんではないことも確かだがね。
私たちは夏日姉さんとローザさんが出て行った後もずっと一緒だったわ。食事の時間までずっとね。
兄さんは源氏さんと一緒にお父様を呼びに上の書斎へ。
I mean, just ask the servants. They'd be the most likely ones to be like going between the buildings.
私たちはそのまま食堂へ直行したもの。だから私たちではないわね。傘を貸すなんて親切、使用人の誰かじゃないの？
Yeah.
じゃあゴーダさん？
私はずっと厨房で準備をしておりましたも
He
の
was
で、
slaving over a hot stove.
申し訳ございません。
Goda looked slightly disappointed about missing the chance to show off. At the same time, Kanon and Kumasawa appeared, pushing a serving cart loaded with hors d'oeuvres.
じゃあ熊沢さんかシャノンちゃんかしら。
何か粗相がございましたでしょうか。
Shannon shrunk, mistakenly thinking she was being accused of making some error, having come in part way.
違うよ。マリアちゃんがバラ庭園に一人でいた時に雨が降ってきてね。誰かが傘を貸してくれたんだよ。ローザおばさんがその人にお礼を言いたいって言うのさ。
Yeah, it was Beatrice. We settled this. Yeah. Maria, her mouth a thin line, said the witch's name in a small voice. Auntie Rosa explained the situation one more time. As she did, Kumasawa-san cackled.
私たちでもございませんよ。私もシャノンさんも一緒にお部屋の準備をしておりましたから、お外には出ておりません。
はい。気が利かなくてすみません。
Well, so far everyone's got an alibi.
部屋の準備とは何のことかね。
この雨ですから、客人の皆さんがゲストハウスにお帰りになられるのも大変かと思って、使用人たちに屋敷内の客室の準備をするように命じたのです。あら、気が利くじゃない。そうね。この雨の中、表に追い出すのは失礼だものね。
もう予算か。
Yeah, not at the dinner table.
奥様からそのようにご指示を受けまして、私と熊沢さんとカノン君の3人で準備をしておりました。そしてご夕食の時間になり、源氏様からゲストハウスのお子様方をお呼びするようご指示をいただいたため、
Well then, that's everybody accounted for.
カノン君が言ってくれたのです。
ですから、カノンさんがゲストハウスに行かれるときにマリアさんを見つけて傘をお渡ししたのではありませんか。
ほー、違う。
The person who had actually received the umbrella denied it. Rosa was troubled. All she wanted to do was give a word of thanks to the person who had lent the umbrella, but she couldn't find them. And she had thought that asking like this with everyone gathered for dinner would work immediately.
じゃあ夏日姉さん。
Do you really think she'd go out in the rain?
ごめんなさい。私は皆さんとの仲良くの語らいの後、頭痛がひどかったので自分の部屋で休んでいました。ですから表へは出ていません。
なら誰なの？
That was Beatrice. We've been over this.
ジョージ君たち？なわけないわよね。
いえ、僕たちじゃありません。僕たちはずっとゲストハウスでテレビを見てました。
むしろ私たちは、マリアはおばさんと一緒に屋敷に行ったとばかり。
そこへカノン君が来て、マリアは一緒じゃないのかと聞いたん
Well,
で、
ain't this a pickle?
初めて屋敷にはいないのかって分かったんだよ。第一俺だったら傘を貸すより先に手引っ張って屋根の下に連れて行くぜ。
Rosa was completely baffled. One by one, the relatives and the servants were claiming that it wasn't them, even though it really wasn't something anybody would need to hide. With that, by the process of elimination, the number of people it could have been wasn't large.
もちろん私でもありません。
Yeah, you were with Kinzo.
雨が降り始めてすぐの頃、
And obviously, it wasn't him because he never leaves
つい
that
さっき
room.
まで一緒にチェスをしておりました。
ということはおじい様でもないよね。
なんだなんだ。
Hey. It was,
妙な話
that's
にな
everyone
ってきた
accounted
ぜ
for.
あと残るのは誰だ？
I mean, just Genji.
じゃあ誰？源氏さん？
That he was dealing with the rooms.
ちょっと待って。別に私は何かの犯人探しをしてるんじゃないのよ。雨の中のマリアに傘を差し伸べてくれた人に母としてお礼が言いたいだけなの。
Giving an umbrella to a girl loitering in the rain was something to be praised, not hidden. Despite that, nobody raised their hand. Why? Everyone started whispering about how strange this had gotten.
落ち着けよローザ。傘を借りた本人に聞けばいいじゃねえか。
an idea that everybody would agree makes sense. They're all scratching their heads as to why she didn't just ask Maria, who had been given the umbrella. However, Rosa bit her lower lip. After all, she already knew what Maria would answer if asked.
道理や。ルドルフ君の言う通りやないか。マリアちゃん、おじさんに教えてえな。マリアちゃんに傘を貸してくれたのは誰や？
What was that little boing? The dinner hall was wrapped in silence for an instant, but that soon broke and it was wrapped in laughter.
なるほど。森の魔女ベアトリーチェが不憫に思って傘を貸してくれたか。
No, just because she's a witch doesn't mean she's a bad person.
いい話じゃないかね。どうぞ、そういうことだ。
Yep, you got your answer. Rosa didn't seem satisfied. Just wanted to say thanks for the umbrella. Why did everything have to get so clouded in smoke?
クラウスおじさんの言う通り、ベアトリーチェが貸してくれたの。
Best not to think too hard about this. Yep, sometimes weird shit just happens. Don't look at it too deeply, otherwise you might not like what you find.
無垢だというのは実に羨ましいことではないか。なあ、諸君。
Grouse was laughing with a face that was clearly mocking her, but Maria, apparently feeling that her claim was being believed, was overjoyed.
一体どうなってんだ？まさか本当に魔女が現れて傘を貸したってのかよ。
Jessica asked me in a small voice that wouldn't carry over to Maria, who was sitting across from me.
マリアって冗談が言えるタイプだっけ？
If we had heard that kind of story pop out of the old bastard's mouth, we'd have just taken it for another joke. However, coming from Maria's mouth, it became somewhat inexplicable, strangely unsettling.
いや、昔から愚直なぐらい正直で真面目だよ。普通なら聞いただけで嘘とわかるような冗談すら鵜呑みにするタイプだぜ。マリアから冗談を言い出すなんて聞いたこともない。
Auntie Rosa probably knew that better than anyone. It appeared that because of this weird situation, she had no idea what was going on anymore.
じゃあ、マリアがベアトリーチェに傘を借りたと言ったなら、それは間違いなくベアトリーチェなのか。
Apparently.
マリアに関してだけは何かの比喩とか冗談とかそういうことは考えられねえぜ。額面通りの意味だと思うべきだろうよ。
じゃあなんだよ。源氏さんあたりがあの肖像画のごついドレスを着てマリアに傘を持って行ってやった
As
っていうの
humorous as
か。
that is to imagine, probably not.
そんなことは知らねえぜ。私が聞きたいくらいさ。
Unless someone's, really trying to, rattle everyone's bones here. Once the hors d'oeuvres were set out and Goda showed off his vast store of knowledge, the meal began. A couple casual chats broke out here and there, but they seemed somehow distant. It was a quiet dinner, granting no respite from the intrusive sound of the rain that was creeping into the dining hall. Spoopy. Kumasawa and Shannon, pushing the serving carts, ran into Genji and Cannon on their way to the kitchen.
源氏さんですか？マリア様に傘を貸されたのは。
傘？
Like what?
何のことだ？
はい。雨が降り出した時に、マリア様は一人でバラ庭園におられたそうで、そこでどなたかに傘をお借りになったそうなのですが、それがどなたかわからないのです。
僕じゃないよ。マリア様はゲストハウスにいると思ってたくらいだからね。
If Cannon put on a frilly dress, he could probably pass. He's got that real bottom twink energy, so.
バトラ様が最初に見つけられた時にはもう白い傘をお持ちだった。
申し訳ないが、それは私でもない。
じゃあまさか親方様でしょうか。
Everybody in both the dining hall and the place where they were standing now had stated that it wasn't them, which meant that only Kinzo was left, but...
何かのご用で 廊下を歩かれている時、偶然バラ庭園に
Oh,
傘
what?
もささないマリア様
That
が見え
like
たと
tickled
か。
his paternal instincts as her grandfather and uncharacteristically went out of his way to give her an umbrella.
親方様はマリア様のことをあまりお好きではない。
He's more likely the type of person to be like, stupid fucking kid, and keep going on his way.
同感だね。親方様がマリア様のために直々に開花までお越しになって傘をお持ちくださるとは考えられないよ。
あら、困りましたわね。では、マリア様に傘をお貸しになられたのは、本当にベアトリーチェ様ってことに
Kumasawa laughed, just like the relatives in the dining hall had laughed it off. She couldn't think of any other way to break through the smoke veiling the current situation. Just then, the crisp sound of hands clapping twice rang through the hallway. They all turned around at once to see that it was Goda who was coming out of the dining hall.
さあさあ皆さん、
Yeah, you're on the clock.
ディナーは配膳のタイミングも大事です。すぐにスープの配膳に取り掛かってください。源氏さん、彼女らは大切なお仕事中ですので、お引き止めになられないでください。
Time is money, unless you're salaried like me and you can get paid for taking 3 months off. Kanon glared at Goda for being rude to Genji, a person Kanon respected. Genji, realizing this, patted Kanon once on the shoulder as if to warn him. Kanon reluctantly turned away and returned his expression to normal.
ゴーダの指示に従いなさい。今は晩餐の配膳を急ぐよう。
Yeah, he's right.
ほらほら、時間がありません。タラタラしない。急ぎますよ。
Goda grabbed the servant car from Shannon and drove it past her, heading towards the kitchen at pace.
では、私どもも厨房に戻らせていただきます。ゴーダさんも気の短い方ですからね。
He's just very punctual.
私もこれで失礼いたします。
Kumasawa and Shannon left. Only Genji and Kanon remained. Through the window, the darkness of the rainy night could be seen, along with the occasional thunderbolt.
源氏様、ベアトリーチェ様が本当にお戻りになられたのでしょうか。
わからん。
親方様にお知らせしますか。
せずともよい。本当にお戻りになられたんだ。
Yep.
やがておのずと親方様の前へ現れよう。それにあれは気まぐれなお方。
You're familiar with her.
親方様にご報告申し上げたところで、お姿を現されないことには何の意味もない。
Have you met, or is this just knowledge that you know?
親方様の儀式はすでに始まっているということでしょうか。
おそらく。だがそれは我ら家具には何の関わりもないこと。親方様に受けた最後の瞬間までお返しするのみ。
はい、それが僕たち家具の務めです。
The thunder crashed once more. Except for that instant when the lightning lit the sky, all that could be seen out the window was the darkness of night. Just as humans rule when the sun is up, the time when the sun is down is ruled by those that are not human. The darkness of the night that now surrounded Rokinjima was ruled not by the Ushiromiya family, but by another master. This master take pity on Maria when she was alone and pummeled by the rain the rose garden lent her an umbrella. Kanon looked at the rose garden's lights, dimly visible beyond the window. The dim lights were not enough to illuminate the surrounding area. Looking at those lights felt like making eye contact with the witch, and Kanon forcefully averted his gaze. If he didn't, it felt like his eyes would be absorbed by the light. Perhaps the weather was also a factor. You often hear stories about how things like atmospheric pressure can influence people's moods and physical health. For some time now, everybody had been making periodic attempts to clear the gloomy atmosphere. But any conversation was quickly cut off, and in the end, the dining hall was simply buried by the sound of the rain. Dessert was some kind of chocolate cake, accompanied by pear sherbet. Goda-san enthusiastically explained the recipe as if delivering the coup de grace, and I quickly forgot the details. The guest of honor, grandfather, was absent. The weather was horrible, and the person who had lent Maria the umbrella was still a mystery. When dinner ended, no one felt even one bit refreshed. It was too late now, but I realized painfully that taste wasn't the only important part of a meal. The whole atmosphere was also critical. Goto-san, the supposed conductor of this performance called Dinner, did his best to liven the place, dropping little jokes left and right, but it seemed they didn't quite get there. After taking orders for after-dinner coffee, tea, and orange juice, he left for the kitchen. As soon as he disappeared, Uncle Kraus spoke.
やれやれ。せっかくゴーダが腕を振るってくれた晩餐も、こうも沈み込んでしまっては実に味気ないというものだ。
I guess being like moody people just runs in the family.
まったくね。今日は何を食べても美味しく感じられない、そういう気分よ。
ほう。どうしてそういう気分なのか聞きたいね。心が晴れ晴れできるよう、兄として後で協力させてもらうよ。
Auntie Ava grimaced slightly. I'd already heard that she was not on good terms with Uncle Kraus, but now I could clearly feel it. When I looked around, I noticed that my dad and Auntie Rosa were also grimacing. Anyhow, it looked like there was something besides the weather that was troubling all of them.
エヴァおばさんも、うちの親父も、ずいぶん機嫌が悪そうっすね。
そう?私はそうは思いませんよ。
What, is that their neutral? I asked Aunt Natsuhi, who was sitting on my right, but it looked like she was also in a bad mood. She snapped back as though she was absolutely not interested.
まあ、ちょいと大人な話で込み入ってな。バトラ君たち子供は気にせんでええ話や。なあ、夏日さん、キリエさん。
Uncle Hideyoshi laughed as he spoke, but without his usual brightness, so I could vaguely imagine just how complicated their adult conversation had actually become. On top of that, even Aunt Natsuhi and Kiryu-san... why do I always keep saying Kiryu? Kyrie. Why do I even know the name Kiryu? Who is that? I don't know anybody by that name, like, actual or fictional. I might, and I just can't think of them. Not ringing any bells. Weird. It's just a name that's in my head, and I don't know where it came from. Kyrie. Kyrie. Like church. Like Kodomine. Kyrie. 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 Kyrie-san. And the people he had directed his comment to ignored him as though they hadn't heard anything. I didn't know what kind of conversation they had been having while we kids were away, but it reminded me of how Dad had said he had stomach cramps when he had arrived at the mansion. The family conference might have been a playful reunion for us kids, but it was definitely different for the adults. After Uncle Hideyoshi was ignored by the other adults, an awkward silence fell over the room. Kyrie spoke up.
子供たちの進路はどうなるのかしらとか、そういう話よ。バトラ君は将来はどうするの?
Oh, fuck, you really gotta ask the hard questions, huh?
ぼんやりと大学進学? そんなのじゃ長い人生レースのスタートラインとしては心細いわよ。
That's why I didn't go to college.
あいたたたたたた。
No, I plan on taking classes. I know I've been saying that for like the past year and a half, but now that I'm going back to weekend shift, I'll have a lot of spare time to do some online classes. So, you know.
キリエさん、飯の最中にそんな話されちまったら、
I'm reaching that point in my career where you
になっ
need
ちまうぜ。
actual like professional education in order to advance, besides just doing good at work. So, you know, gotta make myself competitive in the marketplace.
そうやそうや。バトラ君やジェシカちゃんの進路の話をしとったんや。将来のこ
I
と
can
は
get my
真剣に
associate's
考え
degree
んとあかん
with
で。
only a couple extra classes right now. I already have most of my credits for that from work, so get that. Knock out a bachelor's. Hideyoshi, I mixed like heartily and Hideyoshi together. Hideyoshi heartily agreed that they really hadn't been talking about that, but let me try that whole sentence again. I'm busy thinking about college right now, and it's melting my brain. Hideyoshi heartedly agreed, as if they'd really been talking about that, but they probably hadn't. Kyrie-san had obviously been trying to avoid talking about something. However, If Kyrie-san had determined that this was the best course of action for now, then she was probably right. Taking this into account, I decided to cast aside my suspicions as to the cause behind Auntie Ava and Dad's bad moods. I thought there was going to be more after that with that ellipses, but long last, the servant cart returned, filled with the coffee and tea. Kumasawa-san and Shannon served it to everyone. Goto-san then explained with this tonight's dinner was over. If I had been able to eat in a more cheerful mood, it might have been the best dinner of my life. It's a shame that this greatest of dinners couldn't have been had under the greatest of conditions.
ジョージお兄ちゃん、これでご飯は終わり？
これでおしまいだよ。
はしてないわよ。お席について、落ち着いてジュースを飲みなさい。
Yep, drink your orange juice. Get your vitamin C, you don't want to get scurvy and have your teeth fall out. Maria looked like she was really excited about the occasional crashing thunder. Maybe she wanted to quickly finish eating and run over to the window. She had been fidgeting for a while, waiting for the meal to end. And some people were afraid of thunder, while others find it interesting, and Maria was apparently one of the latter. Yeah, I like it too. I like sitting out and watching it. I was camping out on a mountainside once when this really big thunderstorm rolled in. It was great being up on the side of the mountain. The air pressure dropped like a rock in like a matter of minutes. And then the wind started going, got cold, and it was the really good thunder and lightning where it wasn't like bolts crashing down. It was like the purple lightning arcing between the clouds. Super cool to watch. So when she heard from George Aniki that dinner was over, a huge smile broke across her face. Then she stood up from her seat, took out her handbag, which she had set under her seat, never having left it while she was eating, and began fishing around inside it. No one seemed particularly concerned with this behavior.
なんだい？それは。どこから持ってきたの？
George was the first to notice it. As he spoke, Valor also noticed. When they looked, they noticed that Marie was now holding a beautiful Western-style envelope. On the front of the envelope, the Ushiromiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was done in gold leaf. Furthermore, it was sealed with dark red wax, imbuing a level of class upon that, which made it clear that it was not something that Maria should be carrying around for fun.
Maria-chan, それは何?
It seemed that Natsuki had also noticed the strangeness of the envelope that Maria was holding. Because her voice sounded too serious to be admonishing a small child, the other relatives around her finally noticed.
どうしたよ、夏日姉さん。
それ、何? あなた、それをどこで拾ったの?
その封筒は。
I hate how sometimes you have to hit enter to make it keep going, and sometimes there's just a pause in like the text, and then it starts on its own. I really need to pay attention to the arrow. As Nanjo muttered that, even us kids could understand why everyone seemed to be frozen solid. The envelope that Maria held was one of the Ushiromiya family's head custom-made envelopes for private use. In other words, it could only mean one thing. This envelope contained a message from Kinzo.
どうしてそんな封筒がここにあるんだね。
こいつは面白いもんが飛び出してくるぜ。
ちょいとわしに見せてみ。
Just a little.
ダメ、マリアが読むの。マリアがみんなに読んで聞かせなさいって言われたの。
It better be written in simplistic terms then. Uncle Hideyoshi tried to snatch the envelope from Maria's hands, but she protected it as though hugging it and didn't let go.
秀吉兄さん、子供相手に力ずくなんていけませんよ。マリアちゃん、その封筒はどうしたの？
傘を貸してくれた時にベアトリーチェにもらった。ご飯が終わったらマリアがみんなに読んで聞かせろって言われた。マリアは魔女のメッセンジャーなの。
メッセンジャー？
Interesting.
この島の魔女様は随分と洒落てるじゃねえかよ。
Oh, what a silly grandpa you guys have, you know, getting this whole production going. Oh, having someone dress up like the witch and then getting Maria on board. Oh, what a silly goose, what a thespian. Butler tried to joke about it, but nobody went along with him.
それで中には何て書いてあるのかしら、マリアちゃん。
Maria casually opened the envelope. It was sealed only with wax, so she just had to remove the sealing wax to open it. Sealing wax fell onto the desk. Hideyoshi hastily picked it up and stared fixedly at it. He then set it in the center of the table, where Natsuki, Kyrie, and Nanjo glared at it. Imprinted there on the sealing wax was the one-winged eagle, which was the Ushiromiya family crest, and also Kinzo's personal crest.
これは当主様の紋章。
私は金蔵さんに手紙をもらったことがあるからわかる。これは間違いなく金蔵さんの風浪だ。
でもこのお屋敷にはそれと同じ紋章がいくつもあるのでは。例えば風浪用のハンコのようなものがあれば、金蔵さんでなくても風浪はできるのでは。
There shouldn't be. That's the whole point of having a personal seal.
いや、金蔵さんは風浪には必ず自分が指にしている後ろ宮家当主の証の指輪で刻印をする。この形や複雑な衣装は間違いなく金蔵さんの風浪だ。
そうとは限らんよ。親族であれば一度くらいは親父の手紙を受け取ったことはあるはずだ。その風浪をもとに偽の紋章を作り、親父殿を語って刻印した可能性が否めない。
兄貴に同感だ。風浪に刻印されている紋章がどれだけ親父のものに酷似していたとしても、だからその封筒が親父のものであるという証拠にはならない。
私も全く同じよ。風浪の刻印だけでお父様の手紙だなんて決めつけることには同意できないわ。
Now let's look at the handwriting.
南條先生、曖昧な言葉は慎んでいただけるかしら。
これは失礼。出過ぎた口でしたな。
One after another, all the siblings, from Kraus on downwards, rejected Nanjo's statement, saying that the envelope that Maria was holding had not necessarily been sent by Kinzo. And they were afraid. Kinzo's intentions were written in there, and they feared from the bottoms of their hearts that it might be some decidedly unfavorable announcement regarding the inheritance.
マリア、その封筒は傘を貸してくれた人がくれたのね。じゃわからないでしょ。そうなの？
I mean, it was clearly an affirmative statement, but...
つまり
Who's calling me? I don't recognize that number. I'm gonna ignore it.
魔女ベアトリーチェが傘と一緒にマリアちゃんにその封筒を。
Maria nodded forcefully.
主人に私も同感です。得体の知れない何者かが手渡した怪文書です。読むにも値しません。
せめて読むくらいいいじゃねえかよ。
Ballard said it to Jessica in a small voice, pretending to stir things up, but Natsuhi heard him clearly and glared at him with threatening eyes.
それでマリアはそのベアトリーチェに食事が終わったら読めって言われたんだな。
いいじゃないの皆さん。これはおじい様の封筒ではなくベアトリーチェの封筒。誰が書いたのかはともかく、中身を聞いてからの判断でもいいんじゃないかしら。
そうやな。お父さんが書いたとは限らんが、中身が気になるのが事実や。マリアちゃん、さっきは無理やり取ろうとしてすまんかった。謝るからみんなの前でそれ読み上げてくれんか。
Show us your vocab skills.
マリア、読みなさい。
As all of the relatives stared fiercely at Maria, she spread the letter open with a rustle.
本当に親父の手紙だと思うか？
ありえんね。
親父殿が私たちに何かを発表するときは直接でなければいつだって源氏さんを通してじゃないか。このようなこじゃれた方法でするとは思えんね。
そうよ、マリアをメッセンジャーに？それこそお父様の趣味じゃないわよ。
Yeah.
ローザ、これはマリアちゃんが私たちを脅かそうという何かの隠し芸なんでしょ？
I don't really think she has the capacity to plan things out to this extent. Yeah.
マリアはそんな気の利いたことができる子じゃないわ。
ヤマ、
The words came out of Maria's mouth, but for some reason it felt like her voice was different than usual. Everyone went suddenly silent.
六軒島へようこそ、後宮家の皆様方。
What is this track?
私は金蔵様にお仕えしております、当家顧問錬金術師のベアトリーチェと申します。
そんなアホな。
黙って。
長年にわたりご契約に従いお仕えしてまいりましたが、本日金蔵様よりその契約の終了を宣告されました。
Cool.
よって本日をもちまして当家顧問錬金術師のお役目を終了させていただきますことをどうかご了承くださいませ。
くだらん、ざれ言だ。
聞くに耐えません。
さてここで皆様に契約の一部をご説明しなければなりません。私ベアトリーチェは金蔵様にある条件とともに莫大な黄金の貸与をいたしました。その条件とは契約終了時に黄金のすべてを返還すること。
Uh-oh, means you can't divide it up for inheritance.
そして利息として後宮家のすべてを頂戴できるというものです。
Means you won't get anything in inheritance.
むちゃくちゃや。
初めっからむちゃくちゃだぜ。
要するにあれだろ、
your lives.
よくある悪魔の契約みたいなやつなんだろ。
Yeah.
ほんで契約がおしまいってことになるから利子を回収に来たってわけだ。いいんや、長年のちゃっかりした魔女だぜ。
バトラ君、今は茶化さない方がいい。
Valor made a face as if to ask, if I can't make fun of this, what can I make fun of? At the same time, some of the adults' faces were pale, others looked completely shocked.
これだけをお聞きならば皆様は金蔵様のことをなんと無慈悲なのかとお嘆きにもなられるでしょう。しかし金蔵様は皆様に富と名誉を残す機会を設けるため特別な条項を追加されました。その条項が満たされた時に限り私は黄金と利子を回収する権利を永遠に失います。
特別な条項？
それは何よ？
特別条項。契約終了時にベアトリーチェは黄金と利子を回収する権利を持つ。ただし隠された契約の黄金を暴いた者が現れた時、ベアトリーチェはこの権利を全て永遠に放棄しなければならない。利子の回収はこれより行いますが、もし皆様のうちの誰か一人でも特別条項を満たせたなら
All yours.
すでに回収した分も含めて全てお返しいたします。なお回収の手始めとしてすでに後宮本家の家督を受け継いだことを示す後宮家当主の指輪をお預かりさせていただきました。封印のろうそくにてそれをどうかご確認くださいませ。
Well.
これがそうだというのか。親父が指輪を手放すなどありえん。
Cross was staring at the wax seal as though he was trying to burn a hole through it. Ava and Rudolph were doing the same over his shoulder.
確かにチェスの時金蔵さんの指に何か足りんような違和感は感じた。
南條先生、おぼろげな記憶でいい加減なことを言わないように。
その心眼をここでは測れないわ。本当に指輪をお父様は確かに手渡したのか、この手紙が本当の話かどうかはお父様に直接確認すればいいだけの話じゃない。
そうね、 キリエさんの言う通りだわ。
果たして金蔵さんがそれを答えてくれますかな。あの人の考えは時に人の世の常識では測りかねますからな。
どのみちざれ言の息を出んね。第一、黄金幻想自体が親父殿のまやかしだ。ありもしない黄金の話を始めるのはお前たちだけで十分だ。
でも魔女様はおっしゃってるわよ。黄金を見つけた者に家督と全ての財産を引き渡すってね。つまりベアトリーチェ様はお父様の顧問弁護士もしくは金庫番でもあられるってことじゃないのかしら。
Possibly. That's a good way to look at it, I guess.
このような怪しげな文章を子供に託すような怪人物を信用することなどできません。
兄貴、腹を割ってもらうぜ。兄貴の知らない人物が親父の財産管理をしてるようなことはあり得るのか。
いや、それはない。私は当主代行として親父殿の全ての財産を把握している。
Okay.
私に知られずにそれらを自由にできる人間はいないはずだ。
Yeah, I'm the only one allowed to make shady deals
じゃあ
here.
つまりクラウス兄さんの把握していない財産ってことじゃないの？
バカな、そんなものあるわけがない。
あるわよ。
The gold.
兄さんが把握していない。そんなものあるわけがありません。
いや、あるで。それがお父さんの、いやベアトリーチェの隠し黄金や。
話を整頓しよう。つまり親父には兄貴も知らない腹心がいた。
Yep.
そしてそいつはずっと黄金の番と運用を任されてきたわけだ。
Can't trust you fucking
あるい
kids.
は悪魔の契約まがいのルールで融資した神塚の大富豪か。
その腹心のベアトリーチェさんは自分の黄金を融資する相手として息子兄弟の誰がふさわしいか試したいということなのかしら。
I mean, you're all jumping to conclusions here, but go ahead. Go. That's a decent line of logic. What Kyrie-san, what Kyrie said was something that all the siblings wanted clarified. Upon reflection, he realized that during the time Kinzo's strange epitaph had been displayed in the hall beneath the portrait of the witch, they had always whispered that the one who solved the puzzle would receive anything, yet no one had actually stated, Yet no one had ever clearly stated it. It was just something that everyone hoped might be true. That had, right here and now, been clearly expressed by Beatrice's letter. Clearly specified that everything of the Ushiramiya family would be given to the one who found the gold.
黄金の隠し場所についてはすでに金蔵様が私の肖像画の下に碑文にて公示されております。条件は碑文を読むことができる者すべてに公平に。黄金を暴けたなら私はすべてをお返しするでしょう。それではどうか今宵を金蔵様との知恵比べにて存分にお楽しみくださいませ。
Oh, I'm sure it'll be tons of fun.
今宵が
Fucking
知
barrel of
的か
monkeys.
つ優雅な夜になるよう心よりお祈りいたしております。黄金のベアトリーチェ。
Come on, give us our thunderclap.
お父さん、聞こえているはずです。返事をしてください。
The door to Kinzo's study was being violently beaten against over and over again like a percussion instrument. The screams coming from the other side were Krause's, Rudolph's, and sometimes Ava's voices. The siblings were trying to intrude upon Kinzo's study to question him about the truth behind that mysterious letter. Kinzo was eating. An elegant tablecloth was set over the desk, and the fabulous dinner that had colored the table down in the dining hall was once again laid out. Kinzo continued his meal in silence. Shannon, taking away an empty plate, looked uncomfortably between the door being beaten on and Kinzo's face.
皆さんがお呼びですが、
Yeah, you think you should get
いかがいたし
that?
ますか。
しておけ。神と我が晩餐が沈黙を
Yeah, fuck them kids.
黙らせますか。
必要ない。我が耳には届いておらん。
Kinzo coolly tasted his food. Genji quietly lowered his head and took a single step back. As he did, Kennen, who stood in reserve like a shadow behind and to the side of Genji, opened his mouth.
マリア様がベアトリーチェ様より手紙を受け取られたとのことで、そのあ
やつめ、早速始めおったか。さあ、ベアトリーチェ、かけるコインに不足はあるまい。存分に今宵を楽しもうではないか。
And you're really enjoying this until it's gonna get turned on you, huh?
お前の微笑みは永遠に私のものだ。もう一度見られるなら、富も名誉も我が命すらも惜しくはない。さて、ルーレットは回り始めた。ボールはどのポケットに落ちるのか。ノワールか、ルージュか、それとも親の総取りか。
I think the ball is gonna go spinning out the roulette and tumbling down the hall. It's gonna start like a fucking, Rube Goldberg machine. That's what it is.
再びお前に奇跡の力というものを見せてやる。
There we go. Woo. And now that the game is afoot, that is where we're going to be stopping here for today. So once again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you all next time for the next episode of Umineko, where the plot will continue now that it's thickened a little. See you guys all there later. Bye. Mwah.